Hello, dear viewers, and welcome back to the channel. Today, we delve into a profound and moving moment of royal duty, where tradition and resilience intersected under the watchful eyes of the world. We are focusing on the recent, deeply somber observance of Remembrance Day, an occasion that demands absolute unity and unwavering respect from the monarchy. Before we fully immerse ourselves in this significant narrative, if you appreciate these detailed chronicles of the British royal family, do remember to like this video and subscribe to our channel. Your support ensures we can continue bringing you these exclusive insights. The backdrop to this year's commemoration was layered with both historical gravitas and recent internal strife. Buckingham Palace recently issued a fresh update, one that subtly but firmly underscored the enduring strength of the institution. This update followed the very public display of a unified front put on by King Charles III and the most senior members of the firm during the annual solemnities dedicated to honoring those who sacrificed everything. This display of cohesion was particularly poignant, as it occurred in the immediate aftermath of the regrettable circumstances surrounding Prince Andrew's widely publicized and, frankly, shameful exit from active royal life. The monarchy, often buffeted by modern complexities and personal controversies, must always demonstrate its core purpose: stability and service to the nation. And nowhere is that purpose more critically displayed than during Remembrance Day, a period dedicated to profound national memory. The communication from the palace, though brief, carried immense emotional weight. On the 9th day of November, the official social media channels utilized by the royal family shared a beautifully curated post. It wasn't a photograph of the king bowing his head, nor was it a video clip of the procession. Instead, it was a phrase meticulously chosen from one of the most revered and heartbreaking pieces of wartime literature ever penned: Lawrence Binyon's immortal poem, For the Fallen. This single act of sharing poetry resonated deeply, leaving royal fans across the globe visibly moved and emotionally stirred. For those unfamiliar with the full, devastating power of this particular literary work, the lines chosen for dissemination are perhaps the most famous and evocative in the English language when speaking of sacrifice. They capture the concept of eternal youth and honor bestowed upon those lost in conflict. The poem, written by the English poet and scholar Lawrence Binyon in 1914, early in the cataclysm of the First World War, speaks directly to the perpetuity of memory. The specific stanza shared by the royal family reads, "They shall grow not old as we that are left grow old. Age shall not weary them, nor the years condemn. At the going down of the sun and in the morning, we will remember them." These words, penned over a century ago amidst the horror of trench warfare, serve as the solemn foundation for countless memorial services throughout the Commonwealth. They represent an eternal promise that time, the great devourer of all things, will never be permitted to erase the memory, the bravery, or the sacrifice of the fallen. The caption accompanying the new post was a succinct yet powerful reiteration of this commitment, cementing the royal family's unwavering role as custodians of national memory. It simply and unequivocally stated, "At the going down of the sun and in the morning, we will remember them." But why did this particular social media post hold such significance this year? It is crucial to understand the context in which it was delivered. Remembrance Day, culminating traditionally on November 11th, is the single most important annual engagement for the monarch and the senior royals, save perhaps the state opening of Parliament. It is a moment when the private struggles and personal issues of the family must be utterly subsumed by the requirements of national duty. The eyes of the nation, and indeed the world, look to the king and his relatives to lead the nation in grief, respect, and gratitude. King Charles III, in his capacity as the head of state and the commander-in-chief of the armed forces, stood at the heart of the ceremony, leading the tributes at the cenotaph in Whitehall. The term cenotaph itself means empty tomb, symbolizing the millions of individuals whose final resting places are unknown or far from home. It is here that the king laid the wreath on behalf of the nation, a gesture repeated by the queen consort and other senior working members of the family, including the Prince and Princess of Wales. The visual message sent during the official events was one of absolute, unshakable unity. Despite the continuous swirling chatter surrounding familial discord, health concerns, and the lingering shadow cast by the unfortunate circumstances of Prince Andrew, the core message delivered was stability. The firm presented a solid, cohesive front, demonstrating that the institutional requirements of the crown always take precedence over private tribulations. This is where the choice of the Binyan poem, shared on November 9th, becomes particularly brilliant and strategic. The phrase, "They shall grow not old, as we that are left grow old," speaks of permanence and timelessness. By aligning themselves with this concept, the monarchy subtly reinforces its own timeless nature. In an era marked by rapid change and intense public scrutiny, the royal family needs to project an image that transcends temporary scandals and internal disagreements. By focusing the national conversation entirely on the shared, sacred duty of remembrance, they effectively guide the public gaze away from the recent disruptions. The shameful exit of Prince Andrew, while remaining a serious historical footnote in the timeline of the current reign, necessitated a powerful counter-narrative. Andrew's withdrawal from public life and the stripping of his military affiliations and royal patronages had severely tested the integrity of the institution. His absence from the solemn gathering at the cenotaph, a place where military tradition is paramount, was deeply felt not as a loss, but as a painful reminder of the compromises the family was forced to make to protect the sanctity of the crown. The king and the senior royals, by appearing together, shoulder to shoulder, offered a silent reassurance that the machinery of the monarchy remains robust. They embodied the very stoicism and dedication to service that the fallen exemplified. The visual spectacle of the family, dressed in traditional black and military attire, standing motionless during the 2 minutes of silence, served as a powerful antidote to the preceding months of negative headlines. Let us return to the exquisite power of the poetry utilized in the official update. Lawrence Binion's poem is not merely about death. It is about the transference of duty and the burden of those who remain. The line, "Age shall not weary them, nor the years condemn," is a declaration of enduring respect. It suggests that the sacrifices made are beyond reproach, beyond the petty criticisms and ephemeral judgments of modern life. When the royal family chooses to highlight these specific words, they are implicitly drawing a parallel between the nation's steadfast promise to its heroes and the monarchy's promise to the nation. The timing of the social media post on November 9th is also significant. While the main service at the cenotaph traditionally occurs on the Sunday closest to November 11th, the run-up to this period is filled with local ceremonies and the observance of Armistice Day itself. The palace's post acted as a preparatory moment, setting a tone of deep reflection ahead of the main televised events. It served as a reminder that this time of year is sacrosanct, a period when all personal dramas must be shelved in favor of collective national memory. For the audience age 55 and over, this particular use of poetry resonates profoundly. This generation understands the weight of history, the importance of tradition, and the deep emotional connection to the generations who fought in the Great Wars. The decision by the palace handlers to employ classical, powerful verse rather than a fleeting modern hashtag or a casual comment speaks directly to the dignity and gravitas expected by the target demographic. It affirms the royal family's commitment to preserving historical memory in a meaningful way. Furthermore, the king's own deep connection to the military adds another layer of authenticity to this message. King Charles III served in the Royal Navy and the Royal Air Force, and he takes his role as the head of the armed forces extremely seriously. His presence and the presence of Prince William, who also served, underscores the family's active rather than merely symbolic relationship with the military community. The shared phrases, "at the going down of the sun and in the morning," are a promise of perpetual vigil. The sun setting marks the end of the day, symbolizing the end of life, while the morning represents the renewal of the promise to remember. This cyclical concept ensures that the act of remembrance is not a single annual event, but an ongoing daily commitment woven into the fabric of the nation's identity. In essence, the Buckingham Palace update, a seemingly simple social media post, was a masterclass in strategic communication. It achieved multiple crucial objectives simultaneously. First, it centered the narrative firmly back on national duty and sacrifice, effectively sidelining recent controversies. Second, it reinforced the image of King Charles III as a stable, dutiful monarch, prioritizing the solemn requirements of his role above all else. Third, by utilizing the deeply traditional and universally respected words of Lawrence Binyon, it connected the modern monarchy directly to the historical fortitude of the nation during its darkest hours. The emotional response from the public, described as emotional by reports, confirms the success of this strategy. When the royal family speaks through poetry and tradition, they tap into a shared emotional reservoir that transcends political divides and personal opinions about the monarchy itself. The enduring power of For the Fallen is that it speaks directly to the heart, reminding us of the cost of freedom and the importance of collective gratitude. This period of remembrance serves as a powerful anchor for the monarchy. When the world looks for cracks in the foundation, the king and the senior members present an impenetrable wall of tradition and dedication. The visual contrast between the solemn, dark attire and the bright red poppies, symbols of renewed life and spilled blood, is a powerful reminder of the cyclical nature of sacrifice and survival. The decision to post this poetic snippet on November 9th, leading into the critical weekend, was a deliberate act of emotional preparation for the nation. It was a subtle, dignified way of saying, "The firm is focused, our duty is paramount. We remember them, and in doing so, we define who we are." The enduring legacy of the monarchy hinges on its ability to step forward during moments of national crisis or national reflection and offer unwavering leadership. This year's Remembrance Day, overshadowed by the painful reality of Prince Andrew's seclusion, required an extra measure of solemnity and visible commitment. The king and the working royals provided this, not just through their physical presence, but through the profound, understated power of Lawrence Binyon's timeless words. The phrase, "we will remember them," is not merely a statement, it is a vow, and one that the royal family, as a symbolic embodiment of the nation, must uphold without fail. The quiet power of the social media update proves that sometimes the most resonant messages are those delivered not through loud declarations, but through the echoing wisdom of historical poetry. This event certainly gives us much to reflect upon regarding the definition of duty, the weight of a crown, and the quiet resilience required to maintain an ancient institution in a rapidly changing world. The monarchy's ability to pivot from internal turmoil to national solidarity, using the dignified language of tradition, is a testament to its enduring relevance. We have explored the historical context, the poetic significance, and the strategic implications of this profound statement from Buckingham Palace. Now we turn to you, our engaged viewers. What are your thoughts on the royal family's decision to emphasize poetry and remembrance tradition in the wake of recent controversies? Do you believe this focus on national duty is the most effective way for King Charles III to maintain the unity of the firm? Please share your opinions and reflections in the comments section below. Don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel for more deep dives into the world of the royal family, and hit that notification bell so you don't miss our next celebrity update. Thank you for watching, and until next time, take care.